Hello and welcome back to IGN Live at E3 2018. I'm Marina Sanchez, and joining me are two lovely people from Bandai Namco here to talk about My Hero Academia: One's Justice. We have Randy and Cyrus. Welcome.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, so I'm a huge My Hero Academia fan. Of course, this game is based off My Hero Academia. We were talking a little bit beforehand. This gets a little spoilery, almost.
A little bit.
Yeah, you can definitely see some new quirks in the game.
So, can you tell us a little bit about where this game takes place in reference to the manga and anime?
Yeah, so the story itself takes place in the latter part of Season 2, where Deku finishes his internship with Gran Torino.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then from there, you get to experience everything that happens after that with the current season.
Yeah, so that's like the most exciting part. I went hands-on and learned about a quirk I had not known yet. I was like, well, spoilers, but that's fine because it's a lot of fun, right?
Yeah.
And I was surprised by how well the quirks were adapted for the game.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of variety in how these characters play. And you can really jump into the game and love whatever character you want to play as and use those quirks to take advantage of your opponent.
Mm-hmm. So you two have had a lot of hands-on time with this, where I think I've got to play like a few rounds.
A lot.
Well, I'm jealous.
Randy and I play in the office all the time. He thinks he's better.
I think it's the opposite. But,
So tell me a little bit about your favorite characters for this, because obviously there are going to be some quirks that are better than others. Like, I think it makes a lot of sense that maybe Todoroki's really strong.
yeah, Todoroki is actually my favorite character in the game because I love the ability to utilize fire and ice at the same time. You know, from freezing your opponents and then finishing them off with a fire move, it's awesome in the game.
My favorite is Deku. I like being able to jump into some close-range combat as well as jump back and do long-range combat. So he's a very versatile character. And that's what I really love about this game is that you can really play whichever playstyle you want. You just have to find a character that can do that for you.
Right, and there's also like the normal and manual modes too. So like depending on how into fighting games you are, if you need a little help, maybe play on normal.
Exactly.
Maybe a pro, play manual.
Exactly, and in addition to that, there's a whole sidekick system. So while you have your main character that you're playing as, you also can pick two sidekicks that will come in and assist you with their different quirks. So let's say that I'm using Deku and I'm playing as a long-range character. I can bring in All Might, and he'll be a short-range character able to grapple his opponent.
Yeah, and seeing them charge up and jump in is so exciting.
Yeah.
I remember when I was playing, I didn't actually have a very good explanation of what the side characters did. So can you tell us a little bit about like what are the best combos maybe?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, just even jumping in once you play the game, it does a great job of giving you a tutorial on how to utilize the sidekicks and how to finish off your quirks. But yeah, it's a great experience, and it's showing really well right now.
Yeah. Who are your favorite sidekicks to pair together?
I'll go first. My favorite is Uraraka. I know that we were talking about that earlier. She's really fun because she's able to actually levitate the opponent. So let's say that you're in some melee combat, and then all of a sudden you bring in Uraraka as your sidekick. You can launch them into the air, continue your combo, and then jump out and do a smash finisher.
Yeah. And mine's is All Might, #1 pro hero. He's always
Number
great to have
one.
there.
Number one and number one's hard. Oh. I'm worried, guys. I'm worried.
So emotional, so emotional.
Yeah, I just love him. But yeah, so what does All Might do? Just like a really good punch, I would assume.
He comes in and actually gives your opponent a suplex.
Yeah.
Brings him to the ground so you can run over there.
First off, he gives them a hug and then throws him over the back, which is just awesome to see. And you can combo after that, which is really cool.
Right, so aside from just brawling, which is of course the fun part, there's a story mode to this, correct?
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
And so you said it takes us through what we've seen so far and past it, which is exciting. But again, this isn't out till later this year, so we will have some time to catch up in the anime if you're not already reading the manga or something to not
Right.
get
It comes out October 2018, actually. We just announced the release date with the latest trailer. And within that story mode, you're actually able to play as the hero side as well as the villain side. So you're able to get both sides of the story.
So get maybe a good background information on like what the League of Villains hideout actually looks like and how they go day to day. So how many liberties does this My Hero One's Justice take with kind of changing the story for a game? Is it mostly a one-to-one, or is it like a lot of just adjustments to skip through and get forward?
It's most of the part, it's 1-for-1, but we also did add some original scenarios in there.
Oh, interesting.
So you get to see some original content that's specifically for this game.
Okay, would that be a lot more on the villain side, maybe? Potentially.
We'll let fans see it for themselves.
Yeah, we'll let fans see that. But we also added a customization mode within this game. So you're able to take, for example, Deku's jumpsuit and put it on Bakugo.
Oh,
or
weird.
Bakugo's arms and put them on Todoroki. So it adds a lot of really fun elements to the game.
So since you guys obviously are very attentive to the community, what or who was the most requested character for this?
Well,
I can answer that.
Yeah.
We've heard a lot of requests for Todoroki. Even though we have him playable, I've been seeing that everywhere. We've also heard a lot of requests for the quirk Dark Shadow to be in the game. So we're definitely listening, and we'll have more information on that later.
Awesome. Yeah, because Tokiyami is my other favorite.
Yeah.
And I was just like, he's got to be there.
Why do you love Tokiyami?
He's just a good bird boy. He's just like
Good bird boy, right?
Yeah, he's got like this power that he really obviously cannot control if it gets out of control. So, and it's like just such a struggle for him, and seeing that as he's grown throughout the series with everybody else is just really cool. And also he's just like kind of mysterious and stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, he's just cool. He's a bird.
And in the beginning, you really think that that Tokiyami has a lot to within his own mindset. He doesn't really know what's going on with Dark Shadow, and he doesn't really know how to control it. So there's a lot there to unpack with how you play as him in the game.
Right, and so exactly with that, I'm excited to see how that translates to the gameplay, because when I was playing, I noticed a lot of how people acted, or like their, I guess, call-outs and like reactions to being hit and stuff was very reminiscent of like how they would act in real life, even though obviously this is an exaggerated form. Like we wouldn't see All Might like pounding on Deku and like just you know.
Right.
Yeah.
And
like,
there's also a whole comic book aspect feel to this game, right?
Yeah.
When you hit your opponent, you might see, you know, if you're using Dabi and you hit them with a blue flame, you might see like whoosh come up in a comic book art style typography, which is a really cool aspect to it.
Yeah, I think one of the things I really appreciated was when I was playing as Todoroki versus Deku, I kept like throwing fire attacks at him, and he was like, "Oh, it's hot, that's hot," but in Japanese, and so it's just like just nice little things like that.
Yeah.
Such good touches for this.
Yeah, Randy and I actually played in the office a Deku and Todoroki battle, and it really made you feel like you were in the anime, which was awesome. Awesome to see.
Yeah.
So who do you think are some of the more difficult heroes to play as at this point?
I would say, honestly, All Might is kind of difficult just because he's a grappler. So you do have to be able to get close to your opponent in order to use All Might. He's got a couple long-range attacks just like Deku, but for a lot of his major quirks, it's grappling.
Yeah.
Anybody else?
I would say Himiko is very interesting to play as, but I don't want to spoil
Yeah, but say
anything.
spoilers.
Yeah.
But
That was specifically the person I was referencing, and totally didn't expect that, and was just like, ah.
Yeah.
Oh no.
I want to say also Shigaraki can be a bit tough to play as, but Shigaraki has his own quirk, which I won't spoil, that allows you to really take the entire control of the match very quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I noticed some characters definitely feel a bit more like floaty than others too, and that's like the nature of their quirks. And I think I really appreciate how that was taken into consideration when making this game. One thing that I also like is destructible environments.
Yeah.
As we can see right now, like everything's just getting messed up in this house. It's like, sorry.
That's awesome. Yeah, you can actually take your opponents to vertically. So if you shoot them enough high up against the walls, you take the battle vertical and horizontal. So it's all over the place.
Whenever I see this, I'm just like, oh, Gran Torino, he's going to have some things to say. Sorry. I also just like that with the verticality, the stages kind of move a little bit too. Like as you beat up certain walls, you can kind of access different areas. I think specifically in the UA stage, you got to kind of go out in the hallway after. I think you could go through the door, but like once we just broke the wall down, like just took the fight outside.
Yeah, everything in the game is destructible, which is really cool to see. And you can also launch your opponents into the wall and then continue a combo from that. So it adds a lot of strategy elements to the game.
Right, and I also noticed sometimes the stage flips if you put somebody on the wall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Could you tell me a little about that too? And like maybe, I'm curious about like why that is, or maybe if it's in past games from Viking. I believe that's the developer. Because for all the effort they go into of kind of relating these quirks and making this feel like a really real My Hero Academia game,
Yeah.
that part's a little weird, I think, because like wall running isn't really a thing.
Yeah. Well, we also wanted to match the energy of the show itself. And the show itself and some of those epic moments and battles are over the top sometimes. So we just wanted to bring that into the game.
Yeah, I think this is it right now. They're like on this side.
And we definitely do see wall running in the show. I mean, Deku learns how to control his power by jumping on these walls and being able to dash side to side.
Sure.
So you definitely see that in the game as well.
Okay. Yeah. I'm especially excited to learn about Deku's powers, just because I feel like his evolution, obviously in the anime, is like really impressive.
Yeah.
But seeing how that translates into this game is really interesting too.
Yeah.
Because it's like seeing his similarities to All Might's moveset, but also how it's different. And I think that's like one of the coolest parts of this game.
Right.
Yeah,
well,
definitely.
if you actually pull off the first super attack that you can do with Deku, then he goes into full cow mode. And once he does that, all of his attacks are much more powerful, and he starts glowing green. You'll notice that once you do the attack. So it's really important to take advantage of that because it's only going to last for a certain amount of time.
So if a fan is interested in playing this game and they've never really gotten into fighting games, what are some of the key tips or key tools that they should know going into My Hero Wants Justice?
You want to take that?
I think the biggest one is just to have fun. This game is really fun. It's really for the fans. It gives them great background and really plays into some of their favorite characters and some of their quirks.
Learn your quirks is what I can say. Learn your quirks. It's the most important thing to have fun with this game because the only way that you're actually going to be successful in this is by using your sidekicks very, very effectively and knowing how to save your meter to use your super attacks.
It kind of feels like some of the matchups, so we were in the office when we were playing this, we were like, all right, we need to make sure we do like the core matchups, right? So we did like Bakugo versus Todoroki, and it's weird trying to play out those fights in your own way and like taking control of that. Do you guys feel like sometimes the actual real life, I guess I say real life, but the real anime counterparts, like sometimes they share those weaknesses against certain other heroes? So like would maybe that matchup be harder for Bakugo in some instances, or like if I don't know. I just like love seeing how those translates and like recreating those fights.
Yeah.
And do you think that they kind of share those weaknesses against those heroes that they were weak against in the show?
You want to take that?
Sure. I think we wanted to create a game that allows everybody to utilize everybody's quirks. Although some are more powerful than the others, I think it's really for the fan to kind of play and understand the other opponent's weaknesses and abilities. With that, we do work a lot with the producers and trying to replicate the exact feel of the show into this game.
Yeah, there's. I will say that Randy and I were playing this game once again in the office. I'm sorry, you guys. You can play it at the Bandai Namco booth. But we were playing it in the office, and we were doing a Deku and Todoroki fight. And Randy, while he was playing as Todoroki, was using a lot of ice shields that I had to kind of break through, which was very reminiscent of the fight itself. But you have to figure out, okay, what am I going to use here? How am I going to use my sidekicks to get through this defense, right? How am I going to use this area to get past everything that he's doing to block me from hitting him?
Yeah, and it's all about learning, of course, right?
Yeah.
And I think this is one of the unique fighting games where, because it is tied to a property that is very famous and I guess popular is a better word for that, you can kind of go in like knowing what to expect from each fighter, since it's like, I seriously keep going back to this, but I was really shocked to see like how well the quirks were matched to their moves.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
yeah, absolutely. We're really excited about just how this came out. And you know, you're watching this battle right now with Uraraka and Bakugo, and it just looks beautiful in how you're able to really utilize these quirks to gain the best advantage.
Yeah, for sure. So if you guys have to recommend one hero to play, who is it going to be before we close this out?
Okay. You want to go first?
Best Boy Todoroki.
Best boy Todoroki. Wow. All right. I'm a Deku fan myself. Midoriya, you're able to learn a lot of how the game works by playing as him, and then you can branch off to these other more specific characters.
Awesome. Well, my vote goes to Uraraka, and you'll probably see why if you read my preview on IGN. But of course, thank you guys for joining us on the segment. Yeah. And for more of E3 goodness, keep it here.
Thank you so much for having us.